All right, so get ready, because today we are diving deep into texto pegado,
Okay.
which, is the Spanish text all about building a winning personality.
Right.
And I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
We're talking charisma, we're talking connection, all that good stuff that helps you kind of, level up those social skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this text does a really good job at the very beginning of kind of hitting us with this really important statistic
Okay.
that 85% of our happiness and our problems actually stem from our relationships with others.
Wow.
So it's kind of this stark reminder that social intelligence isn't just, a nice to have.
Yeah.
It's actually crucial for our overall well-being.
It really is one of those things that kind of makes you stop and think, right?
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of that quote from Andrew Carnegie, the Steel Tycoon.
Right.
Where he said that he valued the ability to get along with people
Mm-hmm.
more than any other skill he possessed.
Yeah.
And if it worked for Carnegie, I'm thinking maybe there's something to this whole, social intelligence thing.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is this text takes that idea and connects it to the importance of self-perception.
Okay.
So it argues that a strong magnetic personality actually starts with how we see ourselves.
That makes a lot of sense when you really think about it, because if you're constantly, second-guessing yourself or putting yourself down, it's going to show in how you interact with other people.
Precisely. And the text even shows this visually with a graph,
Oh, wow.
illustrating how a positive self-perception actually acts as a multiplier for your relationships and success in those relationships. So the more you value and appreciate yourself, the wider the range and the more authentically you can connect with people.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a really interesting way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the text suggest we go about building this, strong self-perception?
Well, that's where things get really intriguing.
Okay.
Because it introduces this concept called the law of indirect effort,
Okay.
which basically means, focusing on others rather than ourselves,
Interesting.
which sounds a little counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that by genuinely focusing on others,
Okay.
making them feel valued, making them feel understood,
Uh-huh.
we indirectly achieve what we want in our relationships.
So it's not about, trying to impress everyone in the room with how great we are. It's more about making other people feel seen and appreciated.
You got it.
Okay.
The text even uses this analogy, and they say, imagine everyone you meet is wearing a sign, and that sign says, "Make me feel important."
Wow.
And what's so interesting is they actually back this up with research.
Okay.
Studies show that people are far more likely to remember interactions where they felt truly listened to and truly appreciated.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in situations where I felt completely ignored.
Right.
And it does not feel good.
No, it doesn't.
So, okay, focusing on others is key.
Yeah.
How do we actually do that in a way that feels genuine?
Well, one of the most impactful things, according to this text, is simply giving someone your undivided attention.
Okay.
Put away your phone, make eye contact, and really listen to what they have to say.
It's funny how something so simple can be so rare these days.
It really is.
I know I'm guilty of getting distracted by my phone sometimes.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah.
But the text makes a really compelling argument for the power of presence.
Okay.
When you're fully present with someone, it makes them feel valued,
Yeah.
like their thoughts and their opinions truly matter to you.
And wouldn't you say that when you feel valued by someone, you're more likely to value them in return?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It creates this positive feedback loop,
Right.
which brings us back to that boomerang effect,
Okay.
that the text describes. The energy we put out, whether it's positive or negative, has a way of circling back to us.
Oh, yeah.
So when we make that effort to build others up to make them feel good, it ultimately creates a more positive environment for everyone.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so we've established that, focusing on others, making them feel important is crucial.
Right.
But what about those times when we disagree?
Yeah.
Is it always possible to avoid conflict?
Well, that's where the text draws a really fascinating parallel to Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of non-resistance.
Gandhi.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more.
So Gandhi, as you know, achieved incredible things through peaceful resistance.
Right.
He really believed in the power of understanding and respecting different viewpoints, even when you passionately disagree.
Okay.
And, this text is suggesting that we try to apply that same philosophy to our everyday interactions.
So you're saying we should apply Gandhi's ideas to our personal relationship?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about choosing empathy over ego.
Right.
even in like the heat of the moment. Okay.
Think about a time when someone disagreed with you,
Uh-huh.
but they did so respectfully.
Right.
They acknowledged your perspective
Yeah.
while still, standing their ground.
Right.
Didn't you kind of respect them more for that?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's not about backing down from what you believe in at all, but
No.
just approaching the conversation, with that goal of understanding,
Mhm.
not just, trying to win the argument.
Exactly. And oftentimes that shift in approach
Yeah,
can completely change like the dynamic of an interaction.
for sure. And this has me thinking about all those practical tips that this text lays out
Yeah.
for, building rapport, like things like expressing gratitude, giving compliments, even that, public acknowledgement piece we touched on earlier. It seems so simple. But I can see how it all kind of ties back to this idea of making other people feel valued.
Right. And the text, actually goes a bit deeper and provides some really specific examples
Okay.
of how we can put these tips into action.
Okay.
Like instead of just saying, good job on a project,
Yeah.
you can actually call out something specific
Okay.
that impressed you about the work. It shows you were paying attention.
Right.
Or think about the last time someone gave you a genuine compliment
Okay.
that like really made your day.
Yeah.
Chances are it wasn't just a throwaway line.
Right.
They noticed something unique about you.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's about those small, thoughtful gestures that really show you genuinely see and appreciate the other person.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Let's not forget about the power of a genuine smile.
Okay.
It sounds cliche, but the text actually even cites a study about this,
Oh, wow.
showing that smiling releases endorphins,
Wow.
which makes us feel good,
Okay.
even if we're kind of faking it at first.
So it's like a win-win.
Exactly.
You make someone else feel good.
Yeah.
And you get a little mood boost yourself.
It's like a cheat code for positivity.
I like it.
A smile just disarms people. It
Yeah.
creates warmth.
Yeah.
And it just instantly makes, that interaction more enjoyable for everyone.
So much of this comes back to putting positive energy out into the world.
Yeah.
And being mindful of, how we're making other people feel. It's
Yeah.
like a ripple effect.
Precisely.
Right.
And you know what I find so fascinating about this?
What's that?
Is that this text doesn't just tell us to be nice for the sake of being nice.
Okay.
It ties it all back to that, self-perception.
Right.
And argues that when we lift others up,
Yeah.
we inevitably lift ourselves up in the process.
There's that boomerang effect again.
There it is.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly,
Yeah.
building a winning personality isn't about becoming some, super charismatic, extroverted version of ourselves. It's about cultivating genuine connections.
Yeah.
Approaching our interactions with empathy and respect,
Right.
and focusing on making other people feel valued.
You nailed it. And you know what? The text actually offers a really interesting exercise
Okay.
for putting this into practice.
Oh, tell me more.
It's all about finding someone you admire, someone whose charisma like you would just love to emulate,
Okay.
and imagine how they would act.
Ooh, I like that. Like
Yeah.
a charisma mentor.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And it's not about, becoming someone you're not,
Right.
but it's about using their example as a guidepost.
Yeah.
So what would they say?
Okay.
How would they make others feel?
That's such a practical but powerful exercise.
Yeah.
And it really drives home the point that building a winning personality isn't, this like magical transformation.
Right.
It's about making those conscious choices in how we interact with the world.
Exactly. It's about cultivating those qualities that we admire in other people.
Right.
And weaving them into our own unique style.
This whole deep dive has really shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about, a surface level charm or like mastering some secret handshake.
Yeah.
It's so much deeper than that.
It is.
It's about cultivating genuine connections, recognizing the power of self-perception,
Yeah.
and understanding that, how we treat other people ultimately shapes our own
And
experience.
isn't that the beauty of this text?
Yeah.
It blends that timeless wisdom
Right.
with practical advice and actionable steps
Mm-hmm.
that we can take to really create more fulfilling relationships
Yeah.
and ultimately, lead happier and more successful lives.
Absolutely. So as a final thought-provoking nudge for our listeners,
Yes.
think about someone you admire for their charisma.
Okay.
What is it about them that draws people in?
Mm.
How might they approach your upcoming interactions?
Yeah.
Keep that image in mind and then see if it influences your own behavior.
I love it.
You might be surprised by the results.
It's all about taking those small steps,
Yeah.
those conscious choices that add up
Right.
to create a positive and impactful presence.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I'm so glad we did this one.
Me too.
I'm going to go practice my best charisma mentor impression now.